In a world where AI rewrites decision and boards rooms move faster than ever, one question lingers: who mentors the leaders? Mentorship has quietly evolved from personal development to corporate necessity. The hidden power equation behind modern governance, ESG adoption, and decision confidence. With Neha Shah, co-founder of Mentor My Board, to explore how leadership, mentorship, and transformation accountability, inclusion, and influence at the highest level of business. Even leaders need mirrors, not reflection, but for correction. We have the honor of having Neha Shah, building a community of 100 plus directors, co-founder of MentorMyBoard, joining us today. Let's welcome our esteemed guest to the podcast event and dive into the topic. Hi Neha, welcome to our
Hello,
show.
good evening.
Good evening.
Thank
How
you
are
so
you?
much. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. Neha, small intro about yourself. Yeah.
Sure. So I would say I'm an HR turned into a governance expert now. So I've done my post graduation in HR, worked in that field for quite 5 years with organizations like Kotak Life Insurance, like Future Group. Post which I transitioned into compliances, handled a few compliances for corporates, and then gradually, eventually, by 2018, we started Mentor My Board. This organization was started basically because when we saw in 2017 that there were more than 2.5 lakh directors who were disqualified because they did not file returns for their companies, right? And ministry disqualified them overnight. And people who were in boards of other companies as directors, and those companies did not file returns, they got disqualified in their own companies as well to serve as a director. And then we suddenly thought that since that is the kind of situation, directors are the people who take those kind of decisions, who are responsible for taking their organizations ahead. And if they are a little unaware or they are highly dependent on the professionals, how is it that we bring together that ecosystem for them, and how is it that we learn, thrive, and kind of network together to upskill yourself every day? So that was the core purpose of bringing in Mentor My Board in 2018. And then kind of since then we've evolved gradually.
Why mentorship matters now? Because this is the topic that we want to understand why modern leaders need mentors, right? So,
Right.
over to you.
In fact, honestly, Premji, I would say that today's leadership landscape is so noisier, in fact noisier than ever. There's so much of data, too many dashboards, so many opinions that come to us as a director. It's a complete unpredictable mix of economic, social, geopolitical shifts that happens today. So for leaders at the top, and especially in the boardrooms, if I have to say, the real challenge isn't about the lack of information today, it is the overwhelm of the information that is available, I would say. And when everything becomes so loud, so uncertain, volatile, even the most seasoned leaders which I have seen, you know, they need someone whom I personally call as a North Star, because someone who brings in that clarity, not by giving you the right answers that you want, but by asking those right kind of questions, is really very important. So that's where these kind of mentors matter more than ever today. And I genuinely believe that, one mentor is no longer enough for any person. In fact, in modern leadership, in multidimensional strategy, the governance, the people aspect, the personal well-being aspect, the decision making under these kind of pressures, so each dimension requires a different lens altogether. And that is why leaders today need multiple mentors, each one who guides you on a different facet altogether. I mean, who you want to become, you know. So these kind of mentors will help you guide and will help you stay on that path. And let me share a very small example from my own journey, in fact. So at Mentor My Board, I've been really fortunate to be surrounded by so many mentors. So as on today, we have more than 100 mentors on the platform of Mentor My Board. And many of them whom I have kind of personally interacted a lot of times, they have actually helped me shape and actually helped me evolve in many different ways. So one mentor who could challenge my thinking by pushing me to shifting from the operational execution to the strategy role. Another kind of mentor who helped me strengthen my voice in the boardroom, not only by speaking more, but actually listening differently. How is it that you question differently? What are those kind of aspects that you bring to the table when you are there? So those kind of strengths that are natural to you, sorry, that are natural to you, but probably many times they don't come out. uh, One another mentor who helps kind of be keeping me grounded, basically. So reminding me that leadership isn't about only the pace that we run about today, but it is also about your presence. And hence, then there were a lot of mentors in my own journey who taught me the softer aspects, the invisible parts of leadership, the emotional resilience that we have to kind of maintain during different aspects of growth. And each one of them stepped in at a different moment in my journey altogether. So, not with big dramatic interventions, but with timely nudges, some difficult questions that they ask you, and then that helps you kind of build on that quiet belief that, yes, this is possible. Today, even when I navigate this complexity of having this community of Mentor My Board, as you rightly said in the introduction, that we are building this community which is dealing with governance, with challenges, with building a vision of having 1 lakh directors on the platform. I still hear these voices of wisdom in the background and who support me completely. So that is why I feel personally that mentorship matters much more now than ever, for me at least. And I'm sure for many of the leaders whom I speak and I personally interact with, not because they are weak, but because the world is far more complex, is what I feel. And then there are so many options, so many solutions available to you at your discourse. So mentors help us stay centered. They help us make better choices, I would say, and then probably see the possibilities that we might have missed often in the rush of this leadership and the entire presence altogether. So for me, definitely mentorship has been about getting the right kind of answers, not directly, but it has been more kind of adding clarity, courage, and the continuity that I am into. And definitely I feel that every leader deserves this compass, and especially today.
Is absolutely right. Even the smallest guidance can change so many things when you have a mentor,
Very true.
right? Why
Yes,
do
absolutely.
why do even experienced leaders lose clarity without mentors? That's what we want to have, a mentor, right? So your take on it.
So, honestly, I would say that in today's AI driven world where decisions are getting accelerated, information is so overwhelming, as I mentioned earlier, ethics has become such an anchor that leaders can't afford to lose any kind of it, right? So, definitely clarity is one very important aspect as a leader, that you need to know, you need to understand, and you need to have that kind of vision to drive the ecosystem better. Because if you don't have the clarity, or if you lack some kind of clarity, it becomes really challenging for you to kind of function in this evolving, in this fast changing ecosystem altogether, is what I personally feel. Apart from that, there have been kind of moments in my own HR career in the past, especially while I was handling the recruitment parts, where the strategically right choices, or maybe making those ethically right choices, uh, these choices don't sit on the same side, basically. So when you are in a business, when you are doing some kind of strategy, business aspects of independent directorship, so having all of them together, or bridging everything together at one center point, becomes difficult if you are not clear, if you lack kind of clarity on those fronts. So that is how I feel that these kind of clarity, uh, which mentors bring in by asking you the right kind of questions, is really essential for you to become that leader which the world is looking you to be.
I was reading somewhere where we understand is that why a mentor is needed is not that he'll tell you what you don't know, right?
Absolutely.
He will tell you what you know, but when you should talk, where to talk, and how to talk is what a mentor will tell you. And the knowledge that he is at your domain expertise, he does not know that. But how to navigate is one thing, is what I think the mentor will help you, is what my understanding is. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely right. In fact, that is the essence of mentorship, I would say. Mentors don't hand you that right compass. They help you recognize that, one, what you already carry, as you rightly mentioned, your values, your instincts, your integrity. They also kind of, when leaders start taking those decisions from that place or that lens, governance will flow naturally. It helps you being more observant, it helps you being more responsible as a human being, basically.
Now, has corporate velocity outpaced self awareness? Yeah.
Sorry, can you come back on this?
Has corporate velocity outpaced self awareness?
uh, Well, I will not say it has done it completely. That definitely is not the right thing that I would say. But yes, there are a few instances you would feel that this might have happened. Uh, I will give you an example from what I feel, and how is it that this particular entire concept can take shape, basically. So. Basically, in one of the instances that I would want to share, I was reading this book called The Gym of Leadership, which was written by Dr. Anil Khandelwal. And he is kind of the most acknowledged, renowned global and Indian authors, and he has been acknowledged, he himself has been acknowledged by international authors like Marshall Goldsmith. So the insights in his book, The Gym of Leadership, are so beautiful that it helps you build up your leadership muscle in such a way that these instances don't much matter to you. There have been moments in my own career, especially when I was handling the HR part of my early career, I would say, where strategically right choices, as I mentioned earlier, and being ethically right, they all do not coincide on the one part of it, right? So anyone who has hired you for some critical role uh, knows this dilemma, that numbers and timeliness, say, are one thing, but your instincts, your people aspects are different instincts altogether. And when you have to kind of merge them, it becomes really very complicated. And in that phase, definitely, you need that strategic guidance from someone who would have traveled or transited from that path, who can actually handhold you and who can help you kind of, traverse that path with. So I feel that, it's really important that probably you reach out to the right kind of people whom you deeply trust, seeking that kind of clarity, instead of giving or getting the answers from them. It is still kind of, having the right direction from them.
No, I had few. I had the luxury. I will say that I had few good mentors in one organization itself. About 4 5 mentors, as you initially said, you don't need one mentor. One guy used to talk about technology. Another person used to talk about strategies, ways how we can talk to mentors and all these things. With that kind of a closed network that we had in organizations, what have the post-pandemic boardrooms misunderstood about mentoring?
Interesting. So honestly, a lot has changed post pandemic, and mentors, their way of handling things, because they understand that the ecosystem entirely is so volatile. And while we are doing all of this, the risk resilience that we need to kind of, take it into consideration. So I'll give you a small example. So when directors come together, we generally have this concept of directors meet at Mentor My Board, right? And we've kind of been doing it across the cities like Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, which are not just networking events. Basically, these are actually places where you exchange your judgments, not the business cards only, I would say. These are places where you come to know about those uncomfortable questions that the boards face. You hear those board failures sometimes that never make it to the headlines, but those are the real stories that people have transited to. You learn from these kind of seasoned leaders, as in how is it that you handle moments, of quick turnarounds, or probably how is it that these mentors have handled the moments when things have almost collapsed. Because we see that, there are a whole lot of people that are there with you when things are going great, right?
Hmm.
But as soon as they say that, they see that, there is some kind of issues or there are some crises that are going on, people immediately start leaving the organization. So I feel that, they learn that they don't have to navigate these crises alone. There is an ecosystem around you, and you can always ask or seek for help in such kind of situations. Um, in such situations, basically, I would say situational intelligence that no training modules can provide. Composure, having that composure under the situation of pressures. Um Understanding of these finer aspects is so much crucial, that unless you don't have that entire ecosystem of mentors, of like-minded people, your peers with you, it becomes difficult to traverse through that kind of a situation. And the confidence to speak up in the boardrooms during uncertain decisions, when probably, in large family businesses, when there are some people who kind of command the entire room. So how is it that you have these kind of situations that you would have heard, you would have known, or you would have kind of gone through, and how is it that people would have reacted, and you learn out of it. So that is why I feel probably that, these kind of meetups or these kind of impersonal interactions with people becomes really essential, so that you have that, risk rehearsal, I would say. We generally do rehearsals before any, or preparations before anything that we enter into, right? So this is kind of a risk rehearsal that we do, where mentors, gift their hard earned scares, so that others don't have to earn them the same way that they would have done. And yes, we have our upcoming directors meet in Delhi on the 19th. So if anyone watching here would want to join in Delhi, you can get in touch with us, and I would be happy to share the details too.
Wonderful. I think what you're saying is the knowledge that we get. while we attend such events is not got from reading 10 books, because you have a wide variety of people joining you, and their perspective for one issue could be different perspectives. Why can't we do it like this? Why don't we do? This is one thing that I've learned is, there was one mentor of mine, Mr. David C. Matthew. I've been referring him in most of my podcasts. He used to say, Prem, when you want to understand what your team can do, just listen to them. Just listen to them, let them speak out. Don't try to address the pointer one by one. Let everybody speak. Then you collect all those points, and then you can say, this is what you can do, this is where you can speak, this is what are the pointers that you can speak, is what you used to say. And you should be the last person to speak, is what he used to say in all the meetings, because if you speak, you lose the team's pointers that they want to give you. So that's the point that he used to say. And most of the time he says, take notes, take a pen, paper, write down, say stakeholder 1 said this, stakeholder 2 said this, stakeholder 3 said this, stakeholder 1 can influence this way, stakeholder 2 can influence this way. So you list out and then give the answers at the last. So I've heard about everybody. Now, can I summarize or tell what is that we are looking at? So he used to give us a beautiful explanation and amazing
Absolutely.
guidance that he used to give. How does mentorship shape ethical decision making at the board level?
So this is a very interesting question because having the right set of mentors, probably Uh, so I would give you an example, right, for this. Uh, I'm sure you would know who is Mithali Raj. She is our former Indian captain, right?
Yeah.
Who in her early career had no female role models in cricket, right?
Mm.
So while she was eventually becoming a pioneer or a role model for others, she had started that as a young player, and she didn't have a prominent women cricketer to look up to. And hence, she used to mention, I used to look up to Sachin Tendulkar as a player that I admired for his skills, right? Now, in the similar situation, when you are a person who is a very newbie into the boardroom, you would look up to people who are leaders, who have been there, who have done that for years altogether. You would look forward to their guidance. You would look forward to how is it that they handle these kind of situations. There are different kind of agendas that are placed in the boardroom. So how is it that you handle them? uh, I'm sure everything cannot be known or read into the books, but definitely there are a lot of things that only experience can teach you in the best way. So if you are associated or if you get connected to such kind of a person who would definitely kind of who would have gone through that journey, that person would definitely be able to help you. And this is where communities like the womb circle that we have created, which is an exclusive community of women board leaders who are already on boards, right? These kind of circles play a very critical role, I feel. I mean, it is not only about helping them address the challenges, but it is also about kind of creating that entire ecosystem where you can voice out your opinions. How is it that you present your opinions, and what is it that you present also equally matters in the boardroom. So it is very important for a person, probably not only to ask the questions, but ask the right kind of questions and ask it in the best way possible, so that you don't offend the person opposite, and you are also able to kind of derive all the information that you need for your discourse. So it's, I would say, an art and a science in itself, and hence you need to kind of interact with the right kind of people. So that's what I feel.
You're absolutely right. When we speak on decision making, again, I'll come back to the same point of, you'll have to listen to what the other guy has to say. And most of the time we don't want to give a solution, but most of the time people have solutions, and they only want somebody to hear it out whether that makes sense or not. So that is one way of mentoring. Is what listening is one kind of mentoring, because somebody is telling his pain, whether he finds a solution or not, but he has his mentor or a guide who can help them listen to what they are going through, and maybe one or two pointers can change the whole structure. Can can
Absolutely true. In fact, Premji, I've kind of spoken to so many leaders who say that most of the times we as human beings listen only to respond. We
respond? Yeah.
don't listen to be prepared to hear what the opposite person is saying, and that is where we miss the context. That is where the person opposite to us does not feel that engagement and alignment between what is happening in that moment, right? And hence it is really very important to listen carefully first. As a mentor, that helps you kind of guide, coach the mentee, whom you are who is seeking your knowledge basically.
Now, I'll take one example of my daughter, elder daughter, right? So,
Yeah.
the parent, I used to be very strict, saying that you should do this, sit here, stand there, go, and all these things. About 8, 9 years back, she asked me one question. You've been always telling what's supposed to do, what has to be done, how it is to be done, where it is to be. You go do there, do this, this. Then will you listen? Okay, you listen to what I'm saying. Then I'll respond to what you want. I went back a step, and it was a heated argument that we were having. And suddenly I sat back and said, from today, I listen before I answer. So we went to the stage where I moved back myself and said, I'm listening.
Absolutely, that's the way you can handle the today's Gen Z as well. Not only at home but even at offices, so you've got to give them that space.
When I gave that space, I understood her much better than what was earlier. Today,
True.
even if I see her, she understands, saying that, oh, this is what he's trying to say, or this is what he's conveying. Or she'll ask, if she does not understand, she'll ask, what? So I have to tell her what I meant was telling. So that's way I think. Even my team, when I was part of Wipro, I handled the India, Middle East, Africa regions as a delivery head. So I used to have people handling projects across. Every time there used to be a problem, there used to be blaming, saying that this person did this, that person did that, and I don't know this. And so we went into meetings and said, you are this, you are handling this part, you are handling this part, you are handling this part. So let's look at his pain point, let's look at your pain point, and let's look at his pain points. Somewhere it should match. Otherwise, it is not a system that we are building. We are building silos. So when we started doing that kind of an activity, people started looking is, I'm able to see data here, but it is not in the server. Where is it going? So network has to send the data to the server, right? If it is not going, where it is stuck, is there a bottleneck, is there a port which is blocked? This is all technical part, but giving an example, somewhere it should block, otherwise it is not going. So
Absolutely.
who has to look at? The network guy has to look at it. Now it is not getting stored in the storage. Why it is not getting stored? Is there a blockage for writing? So these are pointers that we used to discuss, and finally we used to come into a session that, sir, this was the problem, he solved it. This was the problem, this was his challenge. So we are able to bring up the system. So that's how we were able to bring up most of the solution. My point there is, can a mentor mitigate governance blind spots? Because that's a big challenge that we see today.
Right. So, in fact, I did, kind of partially answer to this, the governance blind spots, because that is what I would say is the risk, the resilience that we have. But definitely, understanding of the entire situation, right? Understanding the industry, understanding the dynamics in that industry, and then probably from moving on from advising to kind of building that accountability. So that is really very important while mentors help you deal with those difficult situations. So I will give you a small example again, and I was speaking to one of the chairmen, right? While I was speaking to him as a mentor, he tells me that, after every discussion, don't tell me what I need to do. You just ask me whether I've done it or not, right? And that's exactly what mentorship is all about. It is not about advising him. It is just about that gentle accountability, that gentle nudge that these leaders back, back to themselves. So people kind of, have different thoughts altogether. Uh, People don't change because they are told, but the situations, the changes around them, kind of help them to probably behave in a different way. So they change because they feel that, they have seen all of this in the past, and this is the way they have kind of reacted to it. But now is the right time that, these mentors, when they seek guidance from them, they do not kind of jump into the same kind of, you would say, clarity, or the same kind of what would I say to so this case, the same kind of situation and the same kind of response to that situation. So the response will definitely change when the mentors come in, when they bring in different perspectives, when they bring in what is happening in the international markets. So probably you might know your industry well, but how is it progressing in in the international markets is something also that you must know about. How is it? How are things being taken ahead? So definitely there is where mentors play a very, very important role in terms of helping you be that person.
Should mentorship be embedded into board culture like the audit committee? Is that a possibility? Yeah.
Wonderful question. In fact, I would say mentorship must be there in the board culture, definitely, because culture is always set top down, right? So if the top leaders are always learners, that culture is set in the organization very easily. uh, I will give you an example again. So we recently interacted with an L&D head of a leading national bank, right? This was just last week that we had an interaction with her, and she was very keen, that our board and the CXO need a lot of mentoring, not because they lacked something, but for their leaders to be future ready. So today we are not speaking about leaders who are lacking something. We are helping them being future ready, so that whatever be the situation, they are able to kind of cope up with the same. And such, such leaders help others also elevate in their capacity, not only professionally but also personally, because leaders definitely are humans first. So when mentorship becomes a part of the strategy, when it becomes the part of your core culture of the organization, everything sharpens. The decisions, the succession, the culture, everything sharpens a lot. And I strongly feel, that it's like polishing that lens through which the entire organization is looking at something. So definitely it has to be part of the board culture, and that is how it will go top down.
You were saying that at a point where everybody has to learn, and there is something which does not come as a leader, kind of one pointer came in. Now, we were talking into many, you heard about the college students at the final year to be mentored, right? So, how the market would be, what is there, and we don't see that happening in the colleges side also. If you really look at what is that they have to look at after they finish their college, one is that they don't look, there has to be some kind of a mentorship that they should be, how are they market ready. The education is one way, the other
Hmm.
thing is how do they put them, maybe job ready or market ready is what one thing I see. Only mentors can bring up the future leaders. And I worked for Wipro for a very long time, about 12.8 years. And in my organization, when I was there, we were told very clearly, you will have to bring your second line.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you are not growing to them. If you Stuck, you are stuck there, then you are stuck. You cannot go, you don't have a upgrade for yourself. You are stuck. You have a mentor or you have a second line for you, then you'll move to the next ladder. So we were very clearly told every capable guy has to be identified, mentored, and brought to your level so that you go to the next level. So that's one thing that is very strongly that we used to. Mentorship was the governance with empathy, where we used to look at how people are to be trained, built, how they talk in meetings, how they take notes, the way they have to interact. So that was one thing that I learned in that organization.
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
coming to the world where we are talking more of AI everywhere,
Hmm.
can AI ever replace human mentorship?
uh, Honestly, I don't feel it will ever be able to replace the human mentorship as such. AI can analyze the patterns. AI can provide you, different permutations, combinations, but only a mentor can help you understand people, because leadership is all about people, and data make guide data may guide decisions. Data will help you to kind of take the right kind of decisions, but the wisdom that these mentors or the leaders or these coaches that they carry, uh, that cannot be kind of replaced by AI at any point of time. At the moment, at least, we do not know. AI is evolving crazily. I've kind of been reading. I have myself been practicing a lot of AI, and AI definitely gives us a lot of information in milliseconds. But only a mentor, I feel strongly, can help you interpret. Uh, they can help you solve your hesitations. They can help you kind of overcome your fear. They can help you in your ambition, and that's not data. That is something which is a human connection, which is very important, which I feel I don't see, at least immediately, that AI can kind of completely replace the human mentorship. But with the things that are, or the technologies or the updates and the upgradations that are happening crazily, I've also heard that there can be humanoids who actually think the way I am thinking, and it can be kind of put into an AI, and that AI robot will definitely give mentor or advice exactly the way I would have done in that situation. So I've heard it. I don't know whether it is true or not, but at the moment it seems difficult. AI can tell you definitely what has happened and what might happen. But at the moment, AI cannot replace the human mentorship completely. Uh, as I said, it is more about people. It is more about a person, and the leadership is at its core, and hence, it is a human responsibility. I feel that while you are connecting to people or while you are speaking to people, that emotions, those empathy, the love, the affection that we show as a human being will not be able to be taken up by AI at any point of time. So, in my view, it is majorly an enabler, but not a replacement for sure.
I'll add, because AI has been one of the fascinating things that we've been working from a technology standpoint, right? So
Right.
I'm a technologist. So uh, to tell you, AI can tell what Neha wants to do if you give the inputs that Neha wants to do. What Neha thinks cannot be done by the AI. So let's be very clearly is that the
Absolutely.
instincts Neha as a mentor, my board co-founder has is a different pointer, but only if that instinct can be d- given to as a data, it will be responding. Otherwise, it will not be responding. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So my emotions, my
make
empathy cannot be replaced by it by at any point of time, at least in the current situation.
uh, as we have shortened the name as AI, please uh, take into account saying that it is artificial intelligence. Humans is the real intelligence. So let's start there. And now, can the hybrid mentor model strengthen leadership learning?
Yes, definitely it can strengthen leadership. Reason being that, since COVID, I mean, I'm sure before COVID, we hardly had, too many interactive Zoom webinars, seminars like this, right?
Hmm,
We
hmm.
hardly knew how we would kind of function on these kind of screens for a longer period of time, right? But today the world has become so agile. You are connected over the globe in a few seconds, and you can
True.
continue your learning across the globe. On the platform of Mentor My Board, we have so many international leaders, mentors, and on the other hand, we also have mentees across the globe for for the Indian mentors to mentor them. So these kind of learning, I don't think would have been possible if there wouldn't have been something which is probably a hybrid mode of learning, I would say. Even for our WOOM program that we have curated, especially for women directors, WOOM is Women on Management and Boards, and the ideal program that is specifically for the men directors that we have curated. So we deeply believe that hybrid mode works the best, because you are still able to kind of continue with your regular routines. Being a director, you are a person who is really very busy. Being a director, you are a person who has a lot of things to kind of juggle at the same point of time. And then every time, kind of taking out that time for zooming out, zooming in again in your business, in your organization, or probably wherever you are a director, it becomes difficult for a person to be there physically. And hence it becomes easier that you operate in a hybrid mode. You meet people, but at the same time, not every time. Whenever there is a requirement, you can kind of match it up and go ahead with the learnings, with the meetings, and with the in-person interactions that play equally an important role.
I'll say, as we rightly spoke, right? I'll say AI predicts, mentors prepare. So that's where we stand. So AI is a tool that we should be using. So we'll stick on that. Neha, we will take another two questions. I have a lot of comments coming in. We will go with the comments after the next two questions.
Sure.
What changes when you achieve the 100,000 directors that you collaboratively want to build?
Probably nothing would change. It will kind of make a ripple effect of learning, a ripple effect of governance, the good governance message that we want to spread across. And it will also kind of help us build on those strong three pillars that we have been kind of taking into consideration: the people, the corporates, and the mentors. So all of them getting aligned together and being that one entire ecosystem which is available for each one of us.
Okay. Now, there's a nested question that I have for here. How does peer mentoring disrupt traditional power dynamics? And what outcomes has Mentor My Board seen in real impact?
It's a very nice question, I would say. This is one aspect of mentorship which is not given a very great importance, but I strongly feel that peer mentoring is something that comes with a lot of understanding about your current situation. Your peers will be the best judges of what you are today, what kind of a person you are, and how is it that you can transpose or navigate through this situation being in that ecosystem. Because a mentor who is coming in from outside can give his own perspectives. They can bring in that outside in perspective for you. But the inside out perspective is what the peers will be able to share with you, and those are the people that probably are from different industries, from different backgrounds, from different situations. And how is it that they become those leaders who can help others kind of transcourse from that particular phase is something that is really interesting. And I strongly believe in peer leadership or peer networking, because it gives you those finer aspects of yourself as a person, which probably you would have never known. Probably I would never know, for example, that I get switched off with a particular situation very, very fast, right? But my peer will be able to judge that, and that person would be able to come in and tell me that, this is the situation. Probably instead of, being switched off, you could have answered this. So that's just an example. But yes, this happens to a lot of leaders, where they themselves, and where I have spoken to them, right? So they themselves kind of blast on a particular situation, but then having someone who is with you helps you understanding those influx points and kind of, get back to the normal ones.
I was, if you've seen Tony Robbins' sessions, his voice is very loud. He talks normally, also, his voice is very loud. And he
Yes.
uses certain foul language only to calm you down, not to raise you, right?
Hmm.
And he will say, shut, there's certain language that he uses, and he'll say, stop. So that's where you are supposed to listen. At times, some mentors will tell people when they go overboard, is they say, you stop here, this is where you are supposed to stop, right? And that's one thing that strong boardrooms, the boardrooms is strong when it listens to itself, is what I will say, first point. And that's where whole board way of thinking will change when we listen to the others, what they want to convey, right? So
Very true. So
with
I
that,
met one of a CA who was a recent board joinee, just to add to what you said rightly now.
mhm,
And she mentioned that, there was some particular situation in the board which needed a very kind of, that situation needed someone who is very experienced to be handled it in a right way, right? And just before she was going to speak up about it, there was one mentor who was a seasoned one on the board as a member, and that person kind of, intervened and said that, what, we are strongly here to support the organization and to be a part of the growth ecosystem, but uh, how is it that, we can look at the situation differently? And then those kind of lessons, when you have those experiences, real time experiences from these kind of seasoned leaders to handle situations, those are the peer learnings that happens when you are together with them.
great pointers. Yeah, so before I summarize, I will go through these pointers where we will bring out the chat window that has come here. So first is our Lakshmi Atriya says, great to see you, Neha. So that's
Thanks,
the
Lakshmi.
first. Yeah. Then we have Blessing. I'm not getting the full name. So he says great on one pointer.
Thank you.
Then there is a LinkedIn user. Many professionals don't realize the value of mentors. So that's the pointer that he says. Your any pointer that you want to add to this? Yeah.
Honestly, not because, it is not that we go ahead and search for a mentor. It is the
Hmm.
mentor who picks the mentees. So
Yes.
you have to elevate yourself in that stature that a mentor picks you up as a mentee. And that is my point, probably.
So GS Kumar says, oh, sorry, there's a glitch. So yeah. So GS Kumar says, keep inspiring. Again, Lakshmi has a
Thank
point.
you, Mr. Kumar.
Valuable beat last one at Treehouse Bangalore. So okay.
Yes, I do remember. This was the directors' meet at Bangalore that we did where Lakshmi was present. Thank you, Lakshmi, for being here as well and always motivating.
And Lakshmi has a point here. Situational intelligence is one pointer, she says. And then we have Balakrishna ji saying clarity and great insights from Neha. Thanks, Prem, for
Thank you so
posting
much.
either. Thank you. Thank you. Then we have Atul says, Guru is ultimate and everyone needs it. When you reach to a peak of hierarchy, God becomes your guru and mentor. So there is some spirituality coming in there. Thank you, Atul, for that. And
Thanks, Atul.
then we have somebody from mentors will have empathy usage, but not possible with AI. So this is what
Absolutely.
we did. And there is one pointer that has come from Dr. Prakshit. He says,
Pratiksha.
very nice, yeah, very nice session. So few
Thank you.
takeaways that, yeah, you were saying something now. Right.
No, no, I was just thanking the user that mentioned.
Okay. So I've added few pointers where I have a key takeaways that I would like to add when before we conclude. Mentorship scales leadership faster than any training program. That's the first point that we wanted to look at. Board level mentorship reduces governance risks and amplifies trust, as clearly indicated by Neha in one of the questions. She said governance risks will have to have trust built in, is what she said. ESG program progress depends on as much on mentorship as a policy, because you need to have mentorship as now. If you really look at, even the best players in the sports arena have a mentor, right? So without a mentor, they don't exist today, is what I understand, right? Ment-
Absolutely.
Mentorship converts advice into measurable and accountable, measurable accountability, right? So that's what is mentorship. Great leaders aren't born, they are mentored, is what I would say. With that, I think Neha runs the Mentor My Board, and her vision is to bring 100,000 mentors, independent directors, and board members to be there as part of the Mentor My Board journey. We would love to say whatever is possible for our from our side, we will do, and we will be with you, Neha, to have that. I'll with a closing pointer that I want. If leadership is influence, mentorship is legacy. Share this episode with a leader who shaped your growth, or one who needs a mirror, not applause. Follow Power of Knowing Forum to stay inspired, and leaders who build other leaders. Because future of leaders, future doesn't belong to those who know it all, but those humble enough to be mentored. Because a person is in a position to learn only when he is willing to learn. Right? So that is what is my take on the final
Very.
stand.
So,
Uh,
because you mentioned about the future of mentorship, I would like to add, one or two lines on that particular point, because I truly believe that the future of mentorship will be beautifully simple. People helping other people think better is something that I feel will evolve, and definitely AI might give in that data, but the mentors will help other leaders to interpret it in their own way, through their own emotions, fears, aspirations, which no AI can bring about. So, leadership will evolve, boards will evolve, but the need to talk to someone who wants nothing from you except your growth, that will happen only through a mentor, and that will never change for sure.
Thank you for that, Neha. I've scrolled the link of Neha's LinkedIn profile. Do connect with her. I've put a QR code also. When you scan, it will take you to her profile. You can reach out to Neha, connect with Neha, and see the work, amazing work that she's been doing from Mentor My Board. With
Thank
this,
you.
we would like to conclude the session. We will finally say that this podcast has been streamed between LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Hope you found this discussion valuable, and yeah, thank you for joining us, and looking forward to see you in other sessions coming on the 7th of next week, right? 7th of December, we'll have another session. Thank you, Neha. Good
Thank
day,
you so
and bye
much.
for now. Yeah, thank
Have a
you.
great evening. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.